Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachai Kodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And today we're going to go into the book of Leviticus, the 8th chapter. And the Lord Yahweh spake unto Moses, saying, Take Aaron and his sons with him, and the garments, and the anointing oil, and a bullock for a sin offering, and 2 rams, and a basket of unleavened bread. And gather thou. Now remember, there you go, there's the precept there. The Lord commanded Moses that this is what he would do to consecrate Aaron and his sons. So now Moses is actually going to do this, live. And gather thou all the congregation together unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. And Moses did as the Lord Yahweh commanded him, and the assembly was gathered together unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, so that they were outside the court, and they could witness this. And Moses said unto the congregation, This is the thing which the Lord Yahweh commanded to be done. And Moses brought Aaron and his sons, and washed them with water. And he put upon him the coat, and girded him with the girdle, and clothed him with the robe, and put the ephod on him. And he girt him with the curious girdle of the ephod, and bound it unto him therewith. And he put the breastplate upon him. Also he put in the breastplate the Urim and the Thummim. And he put the mitre upon his head. Also upon the mitre, even upon his forefront, did he put the golden plate, the holy crown, as the Lord Yahweh commanded Moses. And Moses took the anointing oil, and anointed the tabernacle and all that was therein, and sanctified them. And he sprinkled thereof upon the altar 7 times, and anointed the altar and all his vessels, both the laver and his foot, to sanctify them. And he poured of the anointing oil upon Aaron's head, and anointed him to sanctify him. And Moses brought Aaron's sons, and put coats upon them, and girded them with girdles, and put bonnets upon them, as the Lord Yahweh commanded Moses. And he brought the bullock for the sin offering. Mind you, this is a whole ritual. All right, this is a whole ritual right here. And he brought the bullock for the sin offering, and Aaron and his sons laid their hands upon the head of the bullock for the sin offering. And he slew it, and Moses took the blood, and put it upon the horns of the altar round about with his finger, and purified the altar, and poured the blood at the bottom of the altar, and sanctified it, to make reconciliation upon it, just as the Lord had commanded him. So the 3 animals each had a purpose. And he took of all the fat that was upon the inwards, and the caul above the liver, which is also fat, and the 2 kidneys and their fat, and Moses burned it upon the altar. But the bullock and his hide, his flesh, and his dung, he burnt with fire. And his hide is like the let's actually click on that. Yeah, okay, skin. And his dung he burnt with fire without the camp, as the Lord Yahweh commanded Moses. And he brought the ram for the burnt offering, and Aaron and his sons laid their hands upon the head of the ram, and he killed it. And Moses sprinkled the blood upon the altar round about. So you can see this is no easy task here, right? The job of the priest is pretty extensive. And he cut the ram into pieces, and Moses burnt the head and the pieces and the fat. And he washed the inwards and the legs in water, and Moses burnt the whole ram upon the altar. And he pretty much washed it before burning it. Okay, let's put it that way. Like you see here, it says here, after washing the internal organs and the legs with water, Moses burned the entire ram on the altar. Okay. It was a burnt offering or a burnt sacrifice for a sweet savor, and an offering made by fire unto the Lord Yahweh, as the Lord commanded Moses. And he brought the other ram, the ram of consecration. So there were two rams and I believe one bullock. The ram of consecration, and Aaron and his sons laid their hands upon the head of the ram. And he slew it, and Moses took of the blood of it, and put it upon the tip of Aaron's right ear, and upon the thumb of his right hand, and upon the great toe of his right foot. And he brought Aaron's sons, and Moses put of the blood upon the tip of their right ear, and upon the thumbs of their right hands, and upon the great toes of their right feet. And Moses sprinkled the blood upon the altar round about. So now you see why, like I said, this was extensive, but you see why the Levitical, say, priesthood was specific, because starting with Aaron and his sons, this was the ritual they went through to actually consecrate and appoint them in this office. And that's why it was their lineage, right, their line on down. You couldn't just jump in there and say, all right, I'm going to play the role of a priest. Verse 25. And he took the fat and the rump, and all the fat that was upon the inwards, and the caul above the liver, and the two kidneys, and their fat, and their right shoulder. And out of the basket of unleavened bread that was before the Lord, he took one unleavened cake, and a cake of oiled bread, and one wafer, and put them on the fat and upon the right shoulder. So he stacked them up. And he put all upon Aaron's hands and upon his sons' hands, and waved them for a wave offering before the Lord. And Moses took them from off their hands. So he put them in their hands. They performed the movement, right? They waved it. And then Moses took it from them and burnt them on the altar upon the burnt offering. They were consecrations for a sweet savor. It is an offering made by fire unto the Lord Yahweh. And Moses took the breast and waved it for a wave offering before the Lord Yahweh. For the ram of consecration, it was Moses' part, as the Lord commanded Moses, which he did tell him that, right? He told him that part would be his. And Moses took of the anointing oil and of the blood which was upon the altar, and sprinkled it upon Aaron and upon his garments, and upon his sons, and upon his sons, and upon his sons' garments with him, and sanctified Aaron and his garments, and his sons' garments with him. And Moses said unto Aaron and to his sons, boil the flesh at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, and eat, and there eat it with the bread that is in the basket of consecrations, as I commanded, saying, Aaron and his sons shall eat it. And that which remaineth of the flesh and of the bread shall ye burn with fire. So ye eat your fill, and whatever is left you burn it. And ye shall not go out of the door of the tabernacle of the congregation in 7 days, until the days of your consecration be at an end. For 7 days shall he consecrate you. So for 7 days they had to stay in there. So that, because that was the duration of their consecration. As he hath done this day, so the Lord hath commanded to do, to make an atonement for you. So everything Moses did that day is what the Lord commanded him to do in order to make an atonement for them, and also to sanctify and consecrate them as priests. Therefore shall ye abide at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation day and night 7 days, and keep the charge of the Lord. So all the things that he had commanded them, which would be their role to do, they would do. And also to obey what the Lord said, in order for them to be consecrated, that ye die not, for so I am commanded. And that's what the Lord commanded Moses to instruct them to do. So Aaron and his sons did all things which the Lord Yahweh commanded by the hand of Moses. And that brings us to the end of the book of Leviticus, the 8th chapter. Lord willing, that was edifying to the elect. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rachak Kodash. And until next time, Shalom.